G'day everyone, Dr. Colin here. All over the world there's all kinds of myths and legends. Many legends revolve around mysterious creatures that are rarely seen. These creatures are known as cryptids, which basically means a creature believed to exist that has not yet been discovered by science. Every nation has them, and here I'm going to teach you about 5 of the most popular cryptids from around the world. Number 5. Thunderbirds. No, not the ever-popular marionettes. In Native American folklore there existed in the Alaska, Illinois and Texas regions giant birds with a wingspan of over 5 meters, colloquially known as thunderbirds. Thunderbirds get their moniker from the long-held belief that they appear just before and just after big storms. In 1977, a boy named Marlon Lowe was set upon by a giant bird that lifted him off the ground and carried him for 40 feet before releasing him from its talons. Thunderbirds have also been known to swoop down and collect livestock and pets that are stripped of flesh and the grisly remains dumped, often near mountain ranges. Many people report Thunderbird sightings even now, and some claim to have even found traces of the creatures, including a feather measuring 18 inches long. Though it was found by a man, so it was probably closer to 10 inches, which is still pretty big, you know. The most likely candidate for the Thunderbird is an ancient creature known as a pterotaur. Dr. Kenneth Campbell helped discover the bones of one of these enormous birds in 1979 in the Amazon. Some researchers speculate that these creatures may have evolved and adapted to modern life. While most descriptions portray the Thunderbird as being simply a large raptor-like bird, many have described it as having a leathery body and bat-like wings. No sightings are being reported right into the present. The video evidence is not exactly concrete enough to prove or disprove the sightings. Number 4. Chupacabra. Chupacabra, also known as the goat sucker, is a cryptid that has been reported in South America, Puerto Rico and even parts of North America. It reportedly travels at night, attacking livestock, biting them and sucking their blood until they die. This creature first came to wide public attention in 1995, after a spate of mysterious livestock deaths were attributed to the beast. Very few people have claimed to have actually seen the goat sucker, but it is most often described as being around 5 feet tall, with powerful legs for jumping, sharp teeth, spikes down its back and glowing red eyes. Many depictions of the creature show it as a biped and covered in scales or grey skin. In recent years, many creatures have been captured and called Chupacabra, only to be identified as coyotes, dogs, raccoons or other canines with parasitic infections such as mange. To date, no compelling photographs or video footage of the Chupacabra have surfaced that haven't been debunked, and it's not looking likely to happen anytime soon. Who knows? Maybe all it will take is the right goat to feast on to lure this creepy golem-esque creature out of hiding. Number 3. Bunyip. Indigenous Australians have a huge variety of awesome mythical beasts, but none captures the imagination quite like the bunyip, which, some believe, did and still does exist. Descriptions of it vary wildly from region to region, though the uniting factors seem to be that it is large and amphibious, choosing to frequent billabongs. It is sometimes described as being bear-like and covered in fur or downy feathers, or lizard-like and scaly, and frequently said to have 2 long tusks on its snout that curve downwards. It is also a creature fond of eating humans, according to many Aboriginal legends. The bunyip was reported by many settlers in Australia's frontier days, and even explorers, but none so intriguing as the narrative of William Buckley. Buckley was an escaped convict who disappeared into the bush and lived with a nation of indigenous people and learned their way of life, adopting their rituals and customs. In his 1852 memoirs, he described a bunyip at a watering hole as follows. I could never see any part except the back, which appeared to be covered with feathers of a dusky grey colour. It seemed to be about the size of a full-grown calf. Buckley even tried to spear one, but was prevented by the Wathaurong people he lived with, as they considered it to be an extremely spiritual animal. More recently, it has been suggested that the bunyip may actually be a description of an ancient breed of megafauna called the Diprotodon, which is essentially a massive wombat. Number 2. Lake monsters. All around the world there are huge lakes filled with mystery and water, mostly water though. Many of these places are believed to house ancient monsters within their depths. The most famous of these is by far the Loch Ness monster. Situated in Scotland near Inverness, Loch Ness is a gigantic inland lake that some have claimed is home to a creature described as having a long, thin neck, a tiny head, humps and diamond-shaped fins. Many believe this creature could be a plesiosaur based on its similar description. Allegedly, the first recorded sighting of Nessie was when St. Columba, who resided near the lake, used his crucifix to repel the creature as it was trying to eat a swimmer in around 6th century AD, or CE as it's now known, in the River Ness. Nobody's ever found Nessie despite in-depth, pun intended, studies of the lake. And, just in case, Nessie is a protected species known as Nessiteros rhombopteryx. Other lake monsters around the world include Champ of Lake Champlain, Lake Okanagan's Ogopogo, who is even more commonly sighted than Nessie, Lake Van in Turkey, Loch Nahuen, and Nahuelito of Nahuel Huapi, as well as countless others. Most are described as serpentine and very large. Leading theories about these creatures suggest that they became trapped in lakes that became landlocked after the last ice age. No physical evidence has been produced to verify the existence of these creatures, but the fact that there are so many lakes around the world said to be populated with such creatures makes for a lot of possibilities so long as the constant hoaxes allow for proper study to happen. Number 1. Ape-Men. Perhaps the most common cryptid around the world is the Ape-Man. They've been reported in almost every country from America and Australia to Mongolia, Russia, Indonesia, China and more. They are colloquially known as Bigfoot, but go under various names from local dialects. Sasquatch, Yowie, Alma, Orang Pendek, Yeren, Yeti, Monday Barang, Ukoma, Ginsang, Kakondak, Sabruku, Patatat, Moehau, Barmanu, Chuchuna, Basitri. The list goes on. There are essentially 3 types of Ape-Men. The Bigfoot, often described as around 7 feet tall, covered in hair with a cone-shaped head and broad features. The Wild Man, who is of an average human size with broad, muscular build and hairy body, often described as having a heavy brow and high cheekbones. And the smallest type, that stands around 4 feet tall and has very ape-like features. The first type is by far the most commonly reported, and is a sort described by people that have seen Sasquatch, Yowie and Yeti. Some researchers point to its close resemblance to Gigantopithecus, a proto-human that died out 300,000 years ago. The second type is incredibly similar in description to another extinct hominid, Homo neanderthalensis, aka Neanderthals. With broad squat bodies covered in hair, they match the description of many ape-men such as the Alma of Russia and Mongolia. The final diminutive type is common in tropical places like Indonesia. They match the speculated look of the Homo floresiensis hobbits discovered on Flores Island. The most famous image of Bigfoot comes from a short piece of film shot by Roger Patterson in 1967. It allegedly depicts a female Sasquatch nicknamed Patty walking among tree trunks at Bluff Creek. Many have tried to write it off as a person in costume, but many more believe it to be real. Over the years, hundreds of photographs and movies have been taken supposedly showing these creatures. They're usually very shy and avoid humans, but on occasion they can be aggressive and attack people. The John Lithgow movie called Harry and the Hendersons depicted Bigfoot as a vegetarian, intelligent and friendly. I'm led to believe that this film is not a documentary as first believed. Given the widespread distribution of Ape-Men, it seems to be quite compelling to think that the sightings might be genuine. After all, it wasn't that long ago that gorillas and orangutans were considered to be a myth. Of all cryptids, Ape-Men are considered to be the most likely to be true by many experts. And that sums up this list of cryptids. Tell me in the comments if you think any of these creatures are real or not, and let me know if you'd like me to do a future video that looks at any of these creatures in greater depth. Thank you for watching, and remember, the truth is out there.